I want to ask you the question that I know a lot of people ask Green Party candidates that I hate that they ask you all this, but what is the pathway towards victory? If you look at you look at Maryland, majority Democratic state, I don't think has voted for a Republican governor since Hogan. Before that, probably even longer. We everyone at the state level is Democratic. How do you see the pathway for victory, and what does victory look like for you as a Green Party lieutenant governor candidate?
Sure. So, like everything that grassroots organizers do, it is an uphill battle to being elected as a third party candidate. It is not impossible, even at the level of governor. So, Jesse Ventura in Minnesota is an example of a third party candidate who was elected governor in our lifetimes, right? So, this is possible. And, my brother lived in Minneapolis for a while, and I would go out there, and they had a green on the Minneapolis City Council, and I would meet with him and talk to him about governing, right? So, on some level, what we're trying to do is expand the conversation and pull the policy conversation towards the left by running on popular issues that centrists funded by millionaires and billionaires don't want part of the public conversation. So some of it is that political education piece. Some of it is setting a new high watermark so that people after us can improve on that outcome, right? So the best third party outcome for governor since the Civil War would be about 4%, 100,000 votes. And so what we're trying to do is redefine winning, because when you have a duopoly and two parties are fighting seemingly to the death, but it's an unending battle and it's a zero sum game, and the people that lose are working class folks across the country because it allows the special interests and the billionaires to control our government. You can't take a step back and say, okay, what do we actually want to see happen? And I think if what we want to see happen is influencing the policy outcomes, setting a new high water mark so more folks can come after us, we can do that through setting goals that other folks might not consider winning. So participation in the debates. If we are interested in political education, if we are interested in pulling the conversation towards the left-handed side of the spectrum, then being part of the debates, especially the ones that Maryland Public Television hosts with our tax dollars, is really, really important. So we're going to have a bill in the Maryland House of Delegates this year, which requires, well, if they want to keep their state funding, incentivizes Maryland Public Television to include all candidates who are qualified based on the State Board of Elections to appear in the general election in the debates that they host. And that would give us a platform to really push these policies that you and I have been talking about and you and I have agreed are not included in the mainstream conversation. So what does redefining winning look like? It looks like participation in the debates. It looks like qualifying for Maryland public financing, because with that, $750,000, we could put up billboards about reparations, about Palestinian solidarity, about ending giveaways to data centers and billionaires, right? We could put up billboards across the state and really supercharge that conversation. And so these are goals short of winning state power that are still really important for movement building and future advocacy. And so we are trying to redefine what winning looks like by creating a platform where people can take up parts of our policies, our platform, and enact them through the current power structures, even as we are contesting that power structure and trying to create a new multi-party system.
Oh, so then comes the other question that I also hate asking. Why not like smaller office? Why take on the governorship in the lieutenant governor? Because a lot of criticism goes towards like the Jill Stein people of like, look, they only come out once every 4 years. They focus on these high level races, but no one's caring about your city council, school board, state delegate seats. Why the high level races?
Yeah, this is a really good question. And it's because of the rules of the game that have been written by Democrats and Republicans, and in Maryland, just written by Democrats. And in order to maintain ballot access as what the state calls a non-principal party, all third parties have to get at least 1% in the presidential race or the governor's race, or collect 10,000 valid signatures, which really means collecting like twice that number or more than twice that number every couple of years. And so by getting at least 1%, which is kind of the floor of that goal that we have, 1 to 4%, we are going to save grassroots organizers all across the state hundreds, if not thousands of hours of petitioning at farmers markets, petitioning at metro stations. And those folks are going to be able to use that time for activism, organizing, direct action that is going to improve things in their community. So if we can hit our floor goal of 1%, it will have a ripple effect into Maryland politics at the local and state level. And so that's why we're running for governor, because Democrats have created a system in which non-principal parties, third parties, have to kind of do this extra step in order to qualify for ballot access, to allow those down ballot, those city council, those county council, those state delegate races to occur.